Hey guys, good afternoon, everybody. Today's Monday, January 30th. It is 2:02 right now. Our scheduled mentoring session is for 2 o'clock. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and then we'll get started shortly. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we will be getting started shortly. It's a couple more things here to update. All right, looks like we're good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the groups. And then we can get started shortly. All right. So looks like people are on their way in right now. So I'll get a few moments for people to join in. And then we will get started shortly, guys. All right, hey guys, good afternoon, everybody. Today's Monday, January 30th. It is 2:05 right now. Our scheduled mentoring sessions for 2 o'clock. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I'll give it a few more moments for people to make their way in. Looks like some people are still joining. So if there's anything you guys want to cover, if there is anything that you guys are confused with, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I don't really have an agenda for today. Otherwise, I'm going to be pretty much just looking over the trades that we looked at today during the live session. And then I'll show you guys some examples of possible entries. Today wasn't really a good day, and I was kind of expecting the market to be this way because for one, it's Monday, and for two, it's NFP. So I'll try to go into more detail regarding what NFP is and why it's risky. But it happens during the first month of during the first week of every month. So it's a thing that reoccurs monthly, and it's usually the time when the market's moving very erratic. It's like a bit difficult to identify, consistency and direction. So I know a lot of you guys messaged me today, and you guys commented that there was really no clear direction in the market. The market isn't always going to be like that. Like the previous weeks, the market was super consistent, but today was a little choppy because it wasn't really in one direction, pretty much, for majority of the live session today. I also left up the markups from today too, so I'll show you real quick how everything looked from today. So I marked up basically the market from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock, and this is generally the time where I don't really trade. And the reason for that is because you can see that there's no real direction in price, right? So we got off the live session right here at 8. Between 6:30 and 8, price was pretty directional, so it went up pretty nicely. And then this is where we got caught up on. We got caught up with that one loss from today right here because we're too close to news price. So the entry came up over here around like 7:15, and news came up at 7:30. We had about 15 minutes until news. So typically I was expecting price to at least push up a little bit before coming back down. But unfortunately, we didn't have that opportunity to make entry at that point. So all good. It happens, but we'll go over those examples later, or we'll just reenact the entries from today. And I'll show you exactly, what could have been done differently for certain entries here. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, for today, I think we're mainly going to be focusing on the trades that appeared during the live session today, between 6:30 and 8. And then also examples of those strategies so that you guys can see how things are applied. So, oh, I didn't realize the mics were on. Sorry, guys. Let me go and mute everybody else. Thanks, Jenny. I didn't realize that the mics were on. So I just muted everybody right there. If you guys want to ask questions through voice, just raise your hand in the Zoom. Otherwise, you guys can just type up your questions. That's probably gonna be the easiest way, so you guys aren't going to be talking over each other. So let's see, question over here from Alana. Alana is asking, for those of us in the mentorship, should we be in a FTMO trial account this week? And when do you think we should plan to start, or when do you think we should plan to start the challenge? So what I would recommend is, yeah, you should probably open up an FTMO trial account. The thing with the trial account is that you guys can start a new one whenever. So you can start one now, and then if you decide that you want to reset it, you can always just message them and tell them, okay, I want to end this one, and then start a new one, and they'll give you a brand new one. You're not limited to as many trials as you want, so you can do it as many times as you like. And then the second part of your question, Lana, when you guys, I think once you guys pass a trial maybe once or twice, then you'll be pretty much confident that you can pass an actual challenge, right? So I would say there's no rush to starting the actual challenge. The market's always going to be here, so there's no need to start the challenge right away. You can do as many trials as you want until you feel like you really have it down, right? Because if you can pass the trial, it's going to be the same process as doing the actual challenge. So like, once you're confident in passing the trials time after time, once you do the challenge, it's not going to be anything different. You're just going to do the same thing you've been doing. And then you'll get funded from that point. So there's no timeline for like when you should start your challenge. I'd recommend probably passing a trial at least once or twice, just to know that, you were consistent and you didn't just get lucky. So do the trial once. The first time you do it once, it's going to be like an example of doing the challenge phase. Once you pass the challenge, you'll do the verification. So if you pass 2 trials, it's basically going to be like practice for doing the challenge, verification, and then getting funded, because you'll be able to pass that since you're already experienced with trading that type of account. So yeah, there's no rush for it, guys. You guys have pretty much all the time in the world, right? It's not like FTMO is just going to stop giving out challenges tomorrow. So you can pretty much just wait for as long as you want. FTMO has actually been around for a long time. That's why I know this company's not going anywhere. They've been around since I think 2010. So they've been around for like 14 years strong, or sorry, 13 years strong now, and they're still continuing to push out quality with their services. So let's see, question from Daniel. Daniel's asking, how do you integrate TradingView and MT4? You can't. They're the same platform, right? They're both trading platforms, so you can't integrate them because they're the same thing. So the only way that you can integrate in the way that you're referring to is if you have one of these brokers here, right? FTMO is not one of these brokers. So, at some point in the future, I'm sure FTMO will integrate into TradingView, but they haven't yet. So that's the thing. I think the thing with a lot of people is that they confuse TradingView and MT4 as being brokers, but they're both trading platforms. So they're the same exact thing. They're just 2 different platforms. So you can't really integrate them. The only things that you'll use is you'll use a login. So like, for example, when you're using MetaTrader 4, you have a login that you use to log into your MT4, right? Same with TradingView over here. If you're on TradingView, you go to the trading panel and you log into your account with one of these brokers. So you can't integrate them too because they're competitors. They're not going to be intermingling with each other, right? You have to use one of these brokers here to trade directly on TradingView. I mean, there's ways to do it where you can execute trades on here and then they'll execute on your copier, but it's not going to line up with what you're trying to do here. Like there's one way that you guys can do it. Like, for example, if you have an Awanda account, the thing with Awanda and Forex.com is that they both have MT4 linkage. So like you can have an account and then it works on TradingView, but it also works on MT4 because the logins are the same. But other than that, there isn't any way to really integrate it because they're 2 separate platforms. It's kind of like it's kind of like going to Burger King asking for a Big Mac, right? They're both hamburger companies, but they're not going to make the same thing, even though they're selling the same type of product. So that's kind of the association with these two platforms. It's like if you're trading on Thinkorswim, right? Some of you guys are familiar with Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is also a platform, so you can't log into a TD Ameritrade account on TradingView as you would, logging into your Forex.com on here on the other platform. So there's no way to integrate it natively. There's ways around it, but not ways that I would necessarily recommend, especially if you're scalping, because you don't want to use an intermediary when you guys are executing your trades, because the trades happen so fast that you don't want to use, because they have these third-party programs where you can execute a trade on here and then it'll copy over to your MC4. But by doing so, there's going to be a gap in between. So not one that I'd recommend. Let's see. Let me see if there's any other questions here. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Let me see if there's anything else right here. Hey, Becky, how's it going? Barty, no, there's no discount on the indicators. We're starting to phase out new members from joining, so I'm not necessarily looking to provide any discounts for people to join. I mean, if you guys want to join, it's open to join, but there's probably not going to be any discounts because we're going to start phasing out public signups by this year. So once we start the prop firm or whatever the trading firm that we have within the community, we're not necessarily going to be opening. It's not going to be an open invite where people can just go on the website, sign up. So no, there is not anything available at the moment, and we don't plan on making anything available anytime soon or ever really. So yeah, if you guys want to sign up for access to the indicators and the strategies, you guys are welcome to. But once the signups close, there's not going to be the ability to just sign up. You'd have to actually be trading for the firm. So let's see. I don't see any other questions here right now. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I think the main thing I'll be looking for today, or I'll be going over today, is going to be the strategies that, or the entries that we're able to identify from today's live session. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just rewind the chart to 8 o'clock over here. And I'll just go over this one by one. So I know there's one entry right here. I'm just going to replay to that candle. So for this one right here, I'm going to show you why this is not an entry for a momentum scalp failure. So I'm going to go over these in order because these typically, they typically follow each other. So first it's going to be momentum scalp failure, and then a momentum scalp variation, and then a momentum scalp. So looking at this here, the candle right here, it'll look like an entry for a momentum scalp failure, and I'll explain why. So going over here at the requirements, let me go back to these other time frames. I'm just going to rewind it to 8 o'clock so that, or not 8 o'clock specifically, but just the time of this entry. Right there. All right. So for this right here, I'm going to show you why this here is not a momentum scalp failure, because some people are asking, why this wasn't an entry, and I'll go over the requirements step by step. So looking at the requirements right here, first you want to confirm the overall trend on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10 minute time frames. In order to confirm that, you want to make sure that price is either above or below the pivots, the trend meter is green or red, and the pivots are either angling up or angling down. So looking at the 1 minute over here, you can see that price isn't necessarily very strong for a buy, but you can see that price was bullish. And the reason why it was bullish is because prior to this drop right here, price was above the pivots. The trend meter is actually still green at this moment, and the pivots are still angling up. So looking over here on the 1 minute, this is going to confirm a bullish trend. Bullish trend is indicating that price is likely to continue to the upside. So with the 1 minute over here, we can confirm that this is bullish. Looking over here on the 5 minute, you can see that this is also bullish because price is above the pivots are angling up, and the trend meter is green. Lastly, here on the 10 minute, you can see that price is also bullish because price is above the pivots and the pivots are angling up, plus the trend meter down below is green. So with that said, looking at the first requirement right here, you want to confirm that the overall trend is bullish or bearish, and you've confirmed here that it is bullish, right? So once you've confirmed that, you can move on to step 2. As you guys can see, it's like a checklist. So once you check off requirement 1, you can now move on to requirement 2. For requirement 2 over here, you want to confirm a retracement momentum signal on the 1 minute time frame. So right here on the 1 minute, in order to confirm a retracement momentum signal, you want to see a signal that's going against the trend. So if the trend here is bullish and you get a red momentum signal, this is just indicating that price is retracing. It doesn't necessarily mean that price is going to reverse further below. This is just telling you that price is dropping down temporarily before it corrects back up. So with that said, for requirement number 2, we have the retracement momentum signal right here because this is a sell signal in an upwards trend. So the pattern here that we're looking for is we're typically looking for this to happen. We're looking for price to push up because we know the trend is bullish. We're looking for this retracement, and we're looking for price to continue back up. And when price continues up like this, this is where we can make the assumption that, okay, if we take a buy right here, if price does continue up, its odds of it hitting your profit target are very likely, right? So you're just assuming. You're assuming by looking at patterns in the chart. So with that said, we have requirement 1, which confirms that the overall trend is bullish. And then for number 2, you can confirm that the retracement momentum signal right here is in place. Going down to step 3, you want to confirm that volume is below average. And the reason why we're looking for that, the logic behind why we want to trade when volume is below average is because if it's below average, this is going to indicate that price isn't necessarily going to have that push to really make its way down below, right? If it's below average, this means that, okay, price is going to just push down slightly. And then once it increases in volume, it's going to correct back up. However, looking over here down below, in order to confirm that volume is below average, you want to make sure that these bars down here are below this blue line. This bar right here is actually above the blue line. So this is going to invalidate the trade, and it's not going to establish the third requirement. So without having a third requirement right here, there's no entry, because in order to get to the 4th step, which is enter on the close of the retracement momentum signal, you have to confirm steps 1 through 3. So since step 3 right here was not met, there's no entry here for momentum scalp failure. So with that said, we skip this trade here. This is the one that we identified during the live session. And then we move on to the next one. So moving on to the next one here, price came down slightly, or actually it never provided an entry for a momentum scalp variation, the second strategy. So the strategy that we actually saw next was this one right here. So for this one right here, this was the entry that we identified. However, well, there wasn't news yet at the time. So this news came up at 7:30, but at this point in time, there's no entry. So let me go over to the next strategy. There was no momentum scalp failure, but there was a momentum scalp. So this came up right here at 7:03. For the momentum scalp, you want to confirm the overall trend. So we already did that. We already confirmed that everything here is bullish, right? You can see that price is above the pivots on the 1 minute. Pivots are angling up. Trend meter is green. This is going to indicate a strong bullish trend. So we're going to anticipate that price is likely to continue pushing up higher and higher. Looking over here on the 5 minute, we have the same thing, right? Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green and the pivots are angling up. And then looking over here on the 10 minute, we have the same thing as well, right? Price again is above the pivots. The pivots are angling up and the trend meter down below is green. So once you've confirmed that, you can move on to step 2. For step 2 over here, you want to confirm that momentum, confirm the momentum on the 10-minute time frame. So looking over here on the 10-minute, you want to look back to the most recent momentum signal. Right here, we have a buy signal indicating that momentum swing to the upside. So with that said, we can assume that price is likely to continue pushing up higher from where it's currently at. Same with the 5 minute over here. Looking back at the most recent momentum signal, we have a buy signal right here. So this is going to confirm that price is likely to continue pushing up as well. Lastly, going over here to the 1 minute, you can see over here that we have the same exact thing, right? So first requirement, confirm overall trend. We already confirmed that it's bullish. Step 2, confirm momentum on the 10 minute. It's bullish right there as well. Step 3, confirm momentum on the 5 minute. It's bullish right there as well, right? And going down to step 4, you want to confirm the same thing on the 1 minute. We have a buy signal right here. I know it's gold, but if you turn off the gold bars, you can see that it's green, right? The reason why I knew it was green is because you can only get the opposite after the previous signal. So for example, here we had a sell signal. So if you have a sell signal here, the next one has to be a buy signal. That's why I knew it was really going to be green. Basically, if this is green, then you can anticipate the next one is red. And then vice versa. If it's red, you can anticipate that this one is green. The reason why I leave the gold bars open is because the gold bars help you identify when it's aligned with all the other time frames. So the only time it'll become green, it'll become gold, is if it's the same across the board. So if it's green on here, and green on here, it's going to be gold. If it's red on here, and red on here, it'll be gold as well. However, if it's red here, and green here, then it's just going to be green. It's not going to be gold. So this kind of gives you a better confirmation to basically confirm that everything here is likely in the same direction. So once you've confirmed that right there, you confirm momentum on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10-minute time frames. Step 5 over here is enter on the close of the 1 minute candle. So the entry for this right here would be on the close of this candle. If you guys remember this entry during the live session, I took this for a partial entry. I didn't take it for the full entry because I got in late. The candle just moved a little too fast, so I couldn't catch it right away. So once you have this set up right here, there's 2 different TP stop losses that you can use. You can either use 130, which would be set up like that, but this is kind of too tight, right? You can see the candles here are moving very heavily. So instead of using the 130, you'll use a 250 to 500. So using that right there, that's how the setup would be. So this is an entry for momentum scalp entry. You would let the trade run once you set it up. And you can see how price kind of bounces around a little bit, but eventually blasts right through and hits profit target right there. That's the first entry that we identified during the live session today. So looking at this right here, you can see that the first entry right here was that one, right? It's the same exact one that I marked up right here. So that's the first one that we identified. And then after this, we move on to the next one. So this is the first entry right there. Now that that's been done with, the next thing that you want to look for is going to be a momentum scalp failure again, right? So price is pushing around this area. We have another sell signal right here, right? So we have a sell signal right here. And let me go over the requirements again. So again, we're starting back over at the momentum scalp failure. After this entry, we'll look for the momentum scalp variation. And then after that, we'll look for the momentum scalp. So for this one right here, again, you want to confirm the overall trend. Looking over here on the 5 and 10. This candle was like right at this candle right here. So you can see that this is bullish on the 5, bullish on the 10, because price is above the pivots. The pivots are both angling up on both time frames, and the trend meter down below is green for both the time frames as well. Once you've confirmed that, go over here to the 1 minute, and you can see that price is also bullish here because price is above the pivots are angling up, and the trend meter down below is green. So we have a confirmation that overall trend here is bullish. Moving on to the second requirement, you want to confirm a retracement momentum signal. This signal right here is going to be considered a retracement momentum signal because you can see that price is bullish here with regard to the trend. So this pullback right here is just a temporary retracement, right? Price is just retracing down, and we're anticipating price to swing all the way back up, right? So with that said, we've confirmed requirement 1, confirm requirement 2. Lastly, you want to confirm that volume is below average. So looking over here at the volume bar, you can see that the red bar below here is below the blue line, right? So you can confirm that's below average, and you can assume and confirm that this is a valid entry for a momentum scalp failure. So once you have the setup right here, you can enter on the close of the retracement momentum signal, which should be right after this candle. You'll enter a long position right here. Your profit target and TP will be 250 or 200, 500. You know, again, as I mentioned, guys, this right here, you can see there's a lot of movement, right? So you don't want to use anything too small. I mean, you technically could use something small if you really wanted to, but from my experience, you know, it's better to have more leeway with your trade here and go for a bigger push rather than having it so tight. So if you're really worried about the position, then, you know, go ahead and have it tight. But if you're not too worried about it and you trust the move, then you can take it for a 25, 50 point movement right there. So you have this setup right there. You let the trade run. Price pushes back into profit and blasts right through the profit target. So right here, you can see from these 2 entries or 2 back-to-back wins right there. This is the momentum scalp failure that happened right after it. And then after that, we had another entry. So these are 2 winning entries. And after the momentum scalp failure is going to be momentum scalp variation, right? This is the one that we actually took and the one that we actually lost. So unfortunately, we got caught in this trade right here. And then once we got caught, so there's 2 entries right here that hit full TP. These are both wins. let me just delete this real quick so I can go over the requirements for the momentum scalp variation. So for the momentum scalp variation, again, you want to confirm the overall trend. We already confirmed it's bullish from the last entry. Next, you want to confirm that momentum aligns on the 5 and 10. So looking at this right here, you'll see on the 5 and 10 that it is also bullish here, right? There is a buy signal on both the 10-minute and the 5-minute time frame. So with that said, we've identified requirements 1 and 2. We have an overall bullish trend. We also have momentum that's bullish on the 5-minute and 10-minute. Third, you want to confirm a retracement momentum signal on the 1-minute time frame. That momentum signal is right here. Step 5, you want to confirm that price closed past the pivots in correction. So price pulled below, and then now on this green candle right here, you can see how price pulls right back above it, right? So going over the requirements again, first, you want to confirm the overall trend, it's bullish. Second, you want to confirm momentum aligns on the 5-minute and 10-minute. We already confirmed that this is here is bullish on both of the time frames. For the third step, you want to confirm retracement on the 1-minute momentum signal. So right here, we have the retracement signal. And in step 4, you want to confirm price closed past the pivots and retracement, which it did on this red candle right here, red signal. And then step 5, you want to confirm that price closed past the pivots in correction. So basically, the pattern that you're looking for here is the same thing that we've been looking for all along, right? You're looking for price to push up, looking for it to retrace and continue back up. So that's the pattern that we identified right here. Once you confirm that the price closes past the pivots in correction, meaning above the pivots, you can look for entry right here. So this is where the entry came up. But this is where it became a little tricky. I think the main thing that kind of threw us off here was that news was coming up shortly thereafter. So news was right over here at 7:30, right? Typically, we don't take any trades 10 minutes before or after news. And this was just really close to that point because the entry came up right here at 7:15, basically 15 minutes away from news. So what happened was we kind of got caught in this position here because there was no more movement. A lot of people were already out of the market because they were waiting for the news to come right here at 7:30. Typically, we'll have like at least a little spike to push our trade into profit. But unfortunately, price didn't go anywhere. As soon as we entered this trade, it just kept going back and forth, right? Nothing was happening here. It was just going back and forth. It went down, it went up, went back up right here. And then at this point, we were trapped in this position because as you can tell, this is the cutoff, right? For the 10 minutes before news price, because this was the news candle right here. So I was kind of hoping for price to push up at least a little bit so I can pull out for profit. I probably could have cut out right here and just took a small loss, but I just held on to it because I didn't want to pull out too early. And then what happened at this point is once we got closer to news, price just started to come down heavier and heavier. Right. And that's where we hit our stop loss because it was right in between this basically dead zone. We typically don't trade around this area right here before news and after. Maria said maybe with a 10, with 100, 300, we could have won this trade. Yeah, let me check. So for this one right here, we counted this as a loss, obviously, because it happened. And this happens every so often, guys. The main thing that I want to tell you guys and remind you guys is that whenever it loses a trade like this, don't get greedy, right? Because I know some of you guys try to move your stop loss lower, but you can see if you held on to this, you just would have taken a bigger loss because price just kept dropping lower and lower. So the thing that Maria was referring to here was saying that, if we used a smaller TP stop loss, we probably would have hit profit target. So yes, Maria, you were 100% correct. If you would have used a smaller TP stop loss, the 130, you probably would have hit your TP because the next candle right here went straight to profit target, right? You'll see some profits from the group over here because some people actually did that, what Maria mentioned. They actually used the smaller TP stop loss. So looking at the profits from today, you can see this entry came up around 720, and there's going to be some people here who still locked in profit, even though a lot of us took a loss on that trade because we just held it for the bigger move. Like Sisuk over here, it looks like he took the trade right over here for a buy. Now Sisuk actually took a loss on that trade. So Sisuk's one of the people that took a loss, but he bounced right back on the following trades. So Justin over here, no, he didn't take that. I'm basically looking for people who took buys. We had Jay over here. He actually took the buy, made some profit on it. Brock over here as well, he took the buy, made some profit on it. So you can see there's some people here who use the smaller TP stop loss, and it's just going to vary, right? Sometimes people are going to get luckier because they're able to pull out of the trade quicker. Same with Ross over here too. Ross was at 8,000 for the day. He took the buys and he pulled out a little earlier. And the reason why I know Ross here was only going for 100 pips, like what Maria said, is because he's using 100 lot and he only made 1,000 on the trades, right? If you're using 100 lot and you're making 1,000, you're only going for 100 pips. If you're using a 250 pip TP, then you would have 2,500 profit. So that's why I know Ross over here is going for the smaller moves, which is probably a smarter move because of the market conditions today, right? With the market kind of being choppy, it was probably a better idea to go out, get out quicker. But with these previous trades hitting over here, because we had 2 trades hit back to back, I figured like, okay, it'll probably push enough to still hit TP, but it's just a bad call there. And it happens. So yeah, if you guys use a smaller TP stop loss, it would have been fine. But for me, I basically told you guys that I was taking the bigger TP stop loss. And what happened is we got caught in the trade for a little too long. And then we ended up taking the loss there. So it's perfectly fine. As long as you guys use proper risk, you guys should be fine because we have a whole week ahead of us. So we just need about 1.5 trades to make back the profit. Or if you guys would have taken the first trade, the momentum scalp over here for a full TP, then you technically only need 1 trade because it's a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So if you only need basically 2 wins to cover the loss, and you're going to get those 2 wins eventually. It's going to come across, throughout the week. Yeah, Stern said Monday and Friday, maybe 10:30. Yeah, that might be a good idea so that you can get out earlier, right? Because the thing is, the market is so choppy on Mondays and Fridays that might be the better idea. But we'll play around with it and we'll see where it goes. iPhone is asking, Sean, is 100 lot $10 for FTMO? Yes. So if you're using 100 lot, it's $10 per pip. So if you're going for 100 pips, each pip is worth $10. So if you're going for 100 pip move, you'd technically be going for 1,000 profit. And then vice versa, if you're going for 250 pips, you'll be aiming for 2,500 profit. Yeah, no problem, iPhone. I know it's kind of confusing because different brokers use different lot sizing, but for FTMO, I think it's pretty simple because if you're using a 100 lot, then you just, each pip is worth $10 or each point is worth $100. And then, yeah, basically, so I think the easiest way to identify it, iPhone and just anyone in general, one lot is going to be equal to $1 with regard to points. So if you're doing 1030 here, using 100 lot, 100 times 10, it's going to be 1,000, right? Of course. And then same with like the 250 here. If you're using 25 and using 100 lot, you just multiply that together, 25 times 100, it's going to be 2,500. Let me scroll up real quick. Yeah, Cameron said that red momentum candle bounced right off the London session and death from there. Yeah, exactly. It came down super heavy. Oh, I don't know what happened to my thing. Let me turn my sessions back on. For some reason, my sessions came off. There we go. All right. So let's see if there's any other questions here before I continue on. Let's see. Jennifer's asking, or Jenny's asking, do we have to set up an FTMO trial account for the mentorship, or could it be a demo account on another broker? You can use whatever you like, Jenny. I just have everybody on FTMO so that everyone they can yield the same profits as me. Like my main goal for this mentorship is for everyone to lock in the same amount of profits as I do on one of my accounts for the entire month. So if they're using an FTMO account and they're just taking the same trades that I'm taking, or mainly the momentum scalp variation, because this one has the highest probability of winning, then they'll be able to basically guarantee their success. So for the mentorship here, I'm just recommending that everybody use a 200K account so that they can do the same thing that I'm doing. They're basically just mimicking my trades and my lot sizing. but it's not necessary for you, Jenny, because you've been around for a while. You already know how things work. So it's mainly for the new people who are not familiar with lot sizing and then different brokers. So, all right, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll see if there's any other entries here that came up between the live session and close. I think there was one more entry that came up here, right? Or maybe not, I might be wrong. Yeah, there's no other entry here. There's no gold bar there, so there's no alignment of momentum. So there's nothing here specifically. This right here would have possibly been a momentum scalp failure, but I forgot there was news that was around this time right here. So I don't think there was. Yeah, that was a news candle right there. So there would be no entry for this here specifically. I think that was it for the entries for today. Because if we got over to 8 o'clock, because price started shifting down below over here, but even though price was shifting down below, there was no alignment with regard to trend. Because the trend here at 8 o'clock was still bullish. So we couldn't even take sells if we wanted to around this period. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or you want me to cover anything specific, if you guys want me to review any of the strategies, show you some examples, I can do that. If there's anything that you guys have questions regarding the platforms, like if there's any tools here that you are not familiar with or you need help with, just drop whatever questions you guys have, and then we can go ahead and review that. CT said 815 was a variation in high-low. Let me check real quick. Yeah, the only problem with that CT is that it's after 8 o'clock, so it's not one that I'd recommend anyone take. Let me go over here at 815, just look at that example that you just referred to. So let's see, 815. Let's see. Okay, so right here at, let me just move these forward a little bit. Just want to make sure it was bullish. I'm pretty sure it was. All right, so I think this here might have been a little iffy because, so looking over here on the 10-minute, you can see that price isn't really bullish anymore. Price is like in between the pivots. The pivots are not angling up anymore. The trend mirror is still green, but everything here is kind of just going sideways at the time of this entry right here. So this would technically be a momentum scalp failure. But again, it's not one that I would necessarily want to take because obviously there's no direction of momentum or no direction of trend here. So for this momentum scalp failure, this is at 822. And that's going to be set up right over here on this red candle. So looking over here on the 10-minute, you can see that price is no longer bullish with regard to trend. Let's see. Yeah, it's not really, you can't confirm the overall trend here. So just looking at this, the reason why we wouldn't have taken this momentum scalp failure is, for one, I don't necessarily like taking the entry by itself. I like looking for the following entry, but just going back over here, from where I see that there isn't really a bullish confirmation here. The 10-minute here, price is in between the pivots. The pivots are going sideways or they're starting to angle down. The trend meter is green, but the trend meter is probably the least strongest confluence here. Looking over here on the 5-minute, you can see that price is also between the pivots. So it's not necessarily a good confirmation that price is bullish anymore because price is in between, plus the pivots here are doing the same thing as the 10. It's kind of squeezing towards the middle. So with that said, the first requirement for the momentum scalp failure would be to confirm overall trend. And since we can't confirm overall trend here, then we would have just avoided this trade in general. Let's see, CT posted it in the chat. Let me check real quick. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so CT set at 811. Let me go over here. Yeah, gotcha. So you're talking about this right here. The main reason why I would avoid this one was because it was right at the sessions. So yeah, no, CT, you are right with identifying that right there. This was an entry. This was an entry for both. It was actually an entry for momentum scalp failure right here, which this one also would have hit TP, but not one I would personally take because it was right at the sessions, this purple line right here. So it does push up and hit profit target. Yeah, exactly like Maria said, but it's at sessions. So I personally wouldn't have taken this failure because it was right at the sessions. And then same with this variation right here. There's a momentum scalp variation on this green candle because price does pull below and then it crosses right back above. However, the main problem here, again, that is right at the sessions. And then on top of that, it's also after 8 o'clock. So another reason why I wouldn't have taken it. But, you know, just for example purposes here, yeah, this was an actual entry. And it does hit profit target for both entries there, for the momentum scalp failure and also for the momentum scalp. So or momentum scalp variation. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of entries that come up. So right now for you guys who are in the mentorship, I only recommend that you guys take the trades that I take during the live session because those are the ones that I'm actually analyzing myself and I can give you guys, you know, a good idea as to where price is going. But once you guys get more familiar with the strategies and you guys are able to apply them on your own, you guys can look for other entries later on in the day. Not something I'd necessarily recommend because I think the sweet spot for trading these types of strategies are going to be when the market's very volatile between 6:30 and 8. Typically after 8 o'clock, it's going to die down a little bit, but sometimes on some days where I don't have any entries, I'll trade until 8:30. So technically you can probably keep going until about 8:30 and you can see that there's more entries that still come up right here. So yeah, a couple entries right there that could have been taken, but not necessarily anything that I would personally take myself. Yeah, exactly. No, and CT said, he said, sorry, I shouldn't confuse everyone, but just want them to know when experienced, you can apply other factors. Yeah, exactly. So just a reminder, guys, for the live sessions, we're only looking at these 3 strategies right here: the momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, and momentum scalp. So those are the only strategies that we're looking at, right, during the live sessions. CT over here mentioned a high-low scalp. The strategy for that is going to be right over here. You can see from my list here, I have about 20 plus strategies that you can use. Once you become more experienced and you guys feel confident with your trading, you can move on to these other strategies here. All of these strategies still work perfectly fine. It's just that in order for me to have everyone on the same page, we're going to be focusing on just these 3 right here. So this is another strategy that CT mentioned, but I don't recommend you guys look into that until you guys have actually gotten this stuff down, because these are the ones that we're actually going to be applying during the live session. Let's see, question from Daniel. Daniel's asking, can you show us how to navigate MT4 since it's linked with FTMO? So what do you need help with on MT4, Daniel? Because all I do is hit buy or sell. So there's not really anything to navigate. I don't know if you watched the video in the course, but I don't really use MT4 for anything. There's like nothing that I use to navigate through it. It's just a platform that I use to execute my trades. So if you haven't looked at the video yet, let me pull up the course over here real quick and I'll show you where you can find it. Because I personally don't use it for anything. So I don't really have anything to show you on MT4 aside from using the FTMO quick trade manager. So there's not necessarily anything for us to look at there. So if you have the course, this is what the course looks like. If you go over here to using the MT4 platform, it'll show you, like there's a video here, how to install the quick trade manager, and then also commonly use MT4 trader tools, which is nothing really because I don't use MT4 for any of the tools. So do you have a specific question, Daniel, like how to navigate? Because I'm trying to figure out like what you're trying to, what you were trying to do with it. Because I showed on here how to log into your MT4 as well. Yeah, so just watch these videos here first, Daniel. And then once you watch these videos, I think you'll understand, because I don't really use MT4 for anything. I just have it on my screen so I can hit buy or sell. That's like literally it. I don't use any of the tools. Like all the tools are used here on TradingView. So I don't necessarily use MetaTrader 4 for anything. I mean, you can if you wanted to, but if you compare, trading view to MT4, it's like night and day, right? Like this here is like if you're going to compare the two, this is like a 2023 computer versus a 1990s computer, right? So you don't want to use a 1990s computer that's super outdated and old. That's why all I use that for is the buy and sell button. Let me see if I can drag it over. I just don't like dragging it over because it ends up corrupting my file, and then I have to go and reinstall it. Let me see if I can log into my other account here. Yeah, exactly. Daniel said MT4 looks like Windows 95, and I agree with you 100%. That's why I don't necessarily I don't use it at all. So let me see if I could log into. I thought I had a login for my FTMO, but I don't think I have it. All right, let me see if my credentials still work here. I'm gonna log into my trial account. Where's the demo? All right, let me see if I could find this. For some reason, it's not logging in. Yeah, sorry guys, I can't drag it over because I have 3 different screens, and whenever I drag it to my main screen right here, the problem is because I'm using MT4 on my Mac. So whenever I open it up, it corrupts the file if I start dragging it to different screens. Like it's not a native program. That's why it's like on a virtual server. So that's why whenever I try to drag stuff around, it doesn't necessarily work very well. So yeah, if you have any specific questions, Daniel, I can show you, but I don't want to like drag my thing around unless like I'm going to show you something specific, because I don't want to drag it around and then have to reinstall it, because that's typically what happens whenever I get my file gets corrupted. I have to reinstall it, and it's such a headache trying to get everything through. So yeah, if there's anything specific, just let me know, and then I'll make the changes. But if not, then then I could always refer back to a video if that's what you'd like to see how everything is explained. But yeah, there's no other tools that I necessarily use specifically, so it's not really, you don't really have to know how to do anything else aside from using the quick trade manager. But then I did explain that in the video. All right, let me log back into my account. Hopefully I can log back in. Okay. All right, cool. So let me log back into my account. So I'm on my main account, but I'm not on my trial one. I might have to create a new one. Anyways, let me just scroll up real quick. Janesh is asking, can you go over how to get the gold bar if all momentum aligns? Yeah, sure, Janesh. So let me just turn off the other indicators over here. Let me just clean up the whole chart actually. All right, so to get the gold bar, what you'll do here is you'll go to your settings. This is how the default settings look. Typically, this will be unchecked. So in order to get the gold bars here, you just need to check this. Let me go back to the settings. Open your settings button right here. Click on this to enable scalp, and then change your time frames to 5 and 10. If you're trading on the 1 minute, then you want to change this to 5 and 10 so that you can have it align with these 2 different time frames. You can use it for other ones as well. So for example, over here on the higher time frames, I have the 10 minute. And then I can turn the scalp and I can change the time frames to 30-minute and 1 hour. So if I have everything lined up here, you can see on the 10-minute, I get a gold bar, but this is aligned with these time frames. So just depending on what you're using it for, if you're using it for scalping, then obviously you're going to be on the 1 minute and you want to set it to 5 and 10. But if you're trading on a higher time frame, you can always change it and it'll give you the same thing, but just on a different time frame. So that is pretty much how you would set it up. Let's see, Barty's asking, this golden momentum bar comes up when everything's aligned. Barty, so if you get a sell signal in the 1 minute, but it's also a sell in the 5 and 10, you'll get your momentum signal. The momentum signal will come up gold. So for example, right here, you can see how there's a gold bar right here for this buy signal. The reason for that's because there was a buy signal here on the 5, and there's also a buy signal here on the 10. So that's when you'll get it. Same with these other time frames here too as well. So like looking over here on the 10-minute, you can see there's a sell signal right here at 2020 on Sunday. And the reason why it's gold is because there's a sell signal right here, and there's also a sell signal right here on the 1 hour. So basically the gold bar just confirms that you have momentum on the multiple time frames that you set in the settings. And it'll basically give you a better confirmation. So like, you know, obviously if you have momentum on all these multiple time frames, it's going to give you a better idea that momentum is likely to continue in that direction versus, you know, just having a temporary one where it's going to be a little push. Yeah, no problem, Janesh. Yeah, Maria said she changed hers to 5 and 10. Yeah, I just put them in order. I don't think it makes a difference, but I heard from some people that it does make a difference. So you probably want to put the lower number on top on time frame 1, and then the higher number on time frame 2, or the specific time frame. Because I think by default, the setting is set to 10 and 5 like this. But like for me personally, I don't see a difference, but I've seen from other people, they mentioned that they do see a difference. So I just want to have the smaller number on top and the bigger number on the bottom like that. Let's see, question from Nice. Nice is asking, hi, Sean, do the 3 momentum scalp strategies work well during London session? So, I mean, I'm pretty sure they do, because the strategy is based off momentum. So like, as long as there's volatility in the market, it should work fine. I personally don't trade London session, so I can't necessarily say for sure. If you were to trade London session, I would recommend trading the DAX or trading either the DAX or the UK 100. But let me just pull back over here and I'll show you. Yeah, Cern said yes. So Cern is like one of our traders here who actually trades London session. So if Cern says yes, then I'm assuming it should work well too. So let me just go over here. I'll just give you a quick example. So basically, this is last night on Sunday. Even though I typically wouldn't trade on Sunday because, you know, the market's not really moving directionally yet, I'll show you some examples here. So looking over here for London, let's mark up midnight, which is London open. All right. And then midnight my time right here. This is London open time. And then I'll go over here on the 1 minute. Yeah, so I'm just like taking a bird's eye view of this right here. Nice, and it looks fine. I mean, it looks like it works out perfect, actually, like pretty solid. All right, so I marked up basically the clock from midnight. So if you guys want to trade London session midnight, it looks like there was one entry that was right here, or a remote. Let me just go and zoom in a little bit. So let me go and maximize this screen. And then let me go ahead and guys, if you guys are part of the mentorship, like disregard this whole area right here, guys, because I don't want you guys to be trading any other session aside from New York session until you're like really confident about you know, trading. So I'm just gonna go and replay this from right here, just so I can show some examples here for nice. So looking at this right here, market open right here at midnight. I'm just gonna assume everything here is bearish, right? Because price was bearish on the 5. Pretty much from midnight up until 3 o'clock. Same with the 10-minute over here, midnight till 3 o'clock. Everything here, we're all only looking for sells. So looking right here, you can see that there is a sell signal right here. All right, here, I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the momentum or the gold bars. So we do have a sell signal right here. And this right here would be considered a momentum scalp entry. So with that said, you'd have a short position right here. Your TP stop loss. You probably would want to use a smaller TP stop loss because the market's slower during London compared to New York. So if you use a 1030 split right here, that'd be your full TP, right? So it looks like it works fine. And then again, right here, you see how there's a buy signal and it's below average on momentum? So we have a buy signal here in the opposite direction of the trend. Plus we have below average volume right here. This would be a momentum scalp, momentum scalp failure. So this right here would be momentum scalp. That would be a full TP right there, would have hit. And then this right here would be a momentum scalp failure because there's a buy signal in the direction of a downwards trend. You took that trade right there, full TP as well. The trade right after right here, this would be a momentum scalp variation, full TP right there. And then again, right here, another sell signal. This would be another momentum scalp. So looking at that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 back-to-back wins right there between London Open, which is midnight my time. And within basically the first 15 minutes, you have 5 back-to-back wins right there. So the 3 strategies that I showed you that we used during New York session, momentum scalp, momentum scalp variation. So if you wanted to trade London session with these strategies, they look like they work perfectly fine, which I'm not surprised because it's all based off momentum. So it doesn't really matter what session you're trading, as long as there's volume there and the market's moving. I mean, it looks like it works perfectly fine. So these 3 strategies right here, momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, and momentum scalp. There is a momentum scalp right here. That's 1 entry, full TP. There's another one, this green candle right here, green momentum signal. That'd be a momentum scalp failure. Also a full TP right there. The candle following it, this red one right here, that'd be momentum scalp variation. Another entry right there. And then the red sell signal right here is a momentum scalp entry. So yeah, basically 4 entries right there, back-to-back full TPs. So, I mean, it looks like it works perfectly fine. But, again, you want to remember that this here is not necessarily meant for London session because the volatility here isn't very high. We had to use a smaller TP stop loss because the volume was very low. I would probably trade the DAX or the UK 100. That'd probably be a better option for you if you wanted to trade London. Let me see if there's I'll see if there's a DAX icon here, or not DAX icon, but a DAX symbol that I can use for futures. Yeah, I'm not sure what the symbol is for the futures market. I'm assuming it's, I mean, I don't know. It's probably not that. Because I know they changed the DAX. It used to be DAX 30. I don't know what it is now. Or let me see if I type in JUR. Yeah, I don't know what the future would be for the DAX. I can scroll down here, I guess. DAX futures. I'm assuming it's this DAX futures. I know the symbols are a little different because DAX could just be DAX, but like for US 30, it's YM here. So I'm assuming it's just DAX by itself, right? It's like this one, FDAX. So I don't have the data for DAX right here. So it shows delayed. So I can't really check for you. I'd have to pay for the European exchange. I think if you're to trade the normal DAX, it would just be DAX JUR 30. But if you were to trade this, I don't know if the volume works as well, because this isn't this is from a broker, Global Prime. Yeah, I wouldn't use this data here because you can see over here from the volume, it's not very accurate, right? the yeah, it doesn't really look very good. So like you guys can see the volume bar below here. It's not really clean at all. It's kind of like all over the place. It's like it seems like there's high volume all throughout the day, but realistically that it's impossible for the volume to be this high throughout the day. You know, comparing the volume here to my US 30, it's way more cleaner, right? So if you were to trade the DAX, I'd probably recommend, you know, actually paying for the data. It's probably not that expensive for European data, but it does work. It does look like it works well. Yeah, no problem. Nice. Yeah, if you want access to it, just go on the website. You know, the website right here, kodikaitrades.com, and you can get access to the indicators there. But it works well. I mean, it looks nice. And Stern over here actually makes, he actually trades it himself. Yeah, Stern said, but it can be tricky since it's a US asset. Yeah, and I agree with you too. But Stern here does trade it himself. So if you look over here at, let me see if I can pull up Stern's profits. Yeah, so you can see the timestamp over here. Stern trade, you know, pre-market, London, and then US session here too. So Stern is actually pretty good. You can see all of his wins here. Pretty much like straight wins all throughout the day. He trades London up until New York. So, and Stern is like killing it. You can see his profits here every day. It's very, very consistent with his profits right there. Straight blue screens throughout the day. Stern does this pretty much every day. Yeah. Yeah, no, thanks, Rashida, and thanks, Stern. Yeah, the DAX 30 is now DAX 40 for European, but I don't have the data for it, so I can't really pull it up. Yeah, Stern said he didn't trade on Friday or today, which is completely fine because I think Friday and today were just not good days anyways. Typically, those are riskier days to trade, so it's not like a big deal. But all right, guys, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I don't really have anything else to cover today. So, you know, for you guys here that are part of the mentorship, you know, these mentoring sessions are mainly for you guys. There's not really much for us to cover because we're focusing on one main thing here. So the main thing that you guys want to look at is going to be the, let's see if I can pull it up. So looking over here at the course, the main strategy that you guys are focusing on, I mean, you guys should have an idea of like these other strategies, the momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, and momentum scalp. However, the main thing that you're looking to apply is going to be the momentum scalp variation. So I know for a lot of you guys, you haven't really practiced enough and you haven't been on enough live sessions to really have very many questions. And for the most part with trading, you're going to learn more from making mistakes. So it's okay to make mistakes. You know, you guys are on trial accounts, so it's not a big deal. You guys can take a trade, you can lose it, you can take a trade, you can win it. It won't matter because you're not really making money off those specific trades. Like you're not winning or losing any of your own money. You're playing on a trial account. So if there's any questions, you know, feel free to put them in the chat. I specifically designed this mentorship so that you guys can focus on just one thing, because the thing is, if you look at my course here, you can see that there's like 20 strategies in here, right? And the problem with the majority of people who sign up and don't know where to start is they get confused because they have so many strategies here and then they get them mixed up. So for this mentoring session, that's why I created this whole 2.0 area up here, module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, and module 5 and 6, so that you guys can keep everything separated. So yeah, if there's any specific questions, guys, you know, feel free to reach out. I have another section down here, trade psychology, the main issues with traders. You guys probably haven't ran into this yet because you guys haven't really traded very much. I think today's like everyone's first day, so you're probably not going to have any idea of what I'm talking about. But typically, these are the problems that you're going to run into, which should be revenge trading. You know, if you guys have traded for a while, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's pretty much revenge trading occurs when trades are taken immediately after a loss. So like, for example, today, I took a loss today right off this specific trade. So I took a loss off this momentum scalp variation. What happens with a lot of people is that they either don't pull out of their trade, or as soon as they lose the trade, they try to hop right back in. It's a huge no, because that's why most people don't find consistency, because they keep revenge trading. Over trading is when you take like a lot of trades. Like for me, for example, if you look at my accounts here, I'm taking like a few trades a day, right? I'm taking like one trade on Friday, taking like two trades on Thursday, like one trade on Tuesday, right? I'm taking like 1 to 3 trades. So my thing here is that I would always recommend that you guys focus on quality over quantity. So I'd rather have you guys take 1 or 2 trades with a decent lot size, using proper risk, and then making a pretty decent big profit versus taking like 20 trades and making small profits here and there that add up. So it just depends. But yeah, if you guys ever get to this point, this is going to be the main issues with traders. Your lot sizes are provided right here, so you guys know exactly what lot size to use. There's another section here that I haven't completed yet. It's going to be trading, how to treat trading like a business. I'll probably keep that session for another day, maybe later on into the month, so that you guys can figure out how to do it that way, once you're actually doing an actual challenge account. Because there's a lot of ways where you can just set up your account so that you can deduct a lot of your expenses, like your subscriptions, your challenge fees, and everything in between. So unless you guys have any other questions, I think we might be wrapping this up. Just keep in mind, if you guys don't have any questions, it's completely fine, because we're going to be having a lot of these mentoring sessions throughout the week. If you guys can't attend this session, or if you guys want me to host it at a different time, just feel free to let me know. I'm going to post a poll in the group right now, actually. So let me see. Group mentoring session. Monday. So there's a couple of options here that we can work with. Additional mentoring. All right, so I'm going to put 2 things here. First is, if you guys would like me to move the normal mentoring session, like this Monday session, to a later time at 5 o'clock, because I know a lot of you guys still work normal jobs, so you can't exactly make it here every week at 2. So either move the mentoring session to Mondays at 5 p.m. instead of 2 p.m., or we can have this normal session at 2 p.m. and then also have another mentoring session tomorrow at 5 p.m. So I'll probably basically hold 2 mentoring sessions a week. And then I can hold more if you guys have a specific date. So if there's any specific day that you guys want, like for example, if you guys can't come on during the week and you guys want me to host it on the weekend, just let me know and we'll set that up. We just got to post a poll to make sure that everybody can make it. But if you guys can vote here, that'd be great, because I'm trying to make myself as available as possible. This week's going to be a little difficult because I'm going to be traveling for a vacation on Friday. But depending on when you guys want to have the sessions, I'll work at whatever you guys prefer. Because for the most part, I have majority of my day is pretty much free, so I can pretty much make time for it. It's just like the times don't work for everybody, so we'll see. All right, Pam, we'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow as well, Surin. So yeah, guys, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, it's already 3:11 right now, so we've been on the session for well over an hour, and there's not really much else for us to cover since we pretty much covered everything from today's session. See, Daniel said, you need to be added into that chat. So Daniel, when you sign up for the I think you're in this chat, aren't you? If you signed up to the mentorship, which I'm pretty sure you did, right? If you sign up to it, you would have had the links emailed to you. So if you didn't have the links emailed to you, just go to the course again. Let me pull up the course real quick. All right. So if you if you or sign up to the mentorship, Daniel, just go to the course page right here, and then go to the second module under getting started. So under getting started, go to the second module here, and then it'll provide your unique links to get into the groups right here on top. They should have been emailed to you as well if you signed up to the mentorship, which I'm pretty sure you did. I could be wrong, but they should have been emailed to you. Check the chat. Yeah, it looks like you signed up on the 29th. So you could check your email or just log into the course and then pull up that second module. Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, once you click the links, you'll get put into this group here. And then and then you can vote. So we'll see. So, all right, guys, unless you guys have any other questions, I think we'll be wrapping this up. Just a heads up, guys, I don't want you guys to feel pressure, in this mentorship, but as I mentioned in the previous sessions, this mentorship is going to be also a scouting opportunity for us to basically scout who has a passion for trading and who wants to make this, a career. Since we are moving towards making our trading community into a trading firm, we'll be picking out, a few hand select people who we will be mentoring one-on-one. There's about 5 mentors in the group. It's going to be me, Kip, Maddie, CT, and Sisu. Basically, a handful of the best traders within our group who have been consistent with my strategies. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be training you to basically be clone traders of myself and of these mentors. So if we're basically going to focus on you guys mastering one strategy, which is going to be the momentum scalp variation. So basically everybody's going to be looking to apply the strategy every single day. You're just going to trade from 6:30 to 8. You'll be trading my capital or some sort of capital, kind of similar to what we're doing with FTMO, except we're going to cut out the middleman and we're just going to keep all the profits for ourselves. We might use FTMO as the vehicle first to get started, but then once we save up enough capital to open up our own liquidity, then I think we'll be fine from there. Because realistically, we were doing the math, and if we would take, say, 3 momentum scalp variations, right? Say for example, we lost today, and then we won 3 different entries. So for example, I was making 2,500 times 3 trades. That's about 7,500 a week, right? So if we did this and we had 10 people below us, or not below us, but just 10 people applying the same strategy, that'd be 75,000 a week, right? Across us and 8 other people in total. So that times 4, it's about 300,000 a month. And then times 12, we'll probably lock in, let's see, about 3.6 million by the end of the year. So at that point, we can start up our own firm. We don't have to use FTMO anymore. And then you guys will be trading, the firm capital. So yeah, no pressure, guys. But, just keep in mind that we are scouting. So whenever you guys make profits, go ahead and post up your profits. And if we can see that you're consistent, especially with applying these specific strategies, then you'll likely be chosen to partake in our pilot program for the new firm. So yeah, a lot of big things coming, guys. It's going to be really exciting because, I'm going to be focusing on your guys' success because, I have a stake in your guys' success. If you guys kill it with trading, you'll make more money, and the more money you make, the more money I make. So it goes full circle. We all share the same capital basically. And we're all on one goal to make as much money as possible together so that we can grow from there. And as you guys have seen my account, so I'll just show you again real quick. So you guys can see right here that I have about 6 accounts, right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my goal here is to make sure that each and every one of you are going to be able to lock in the same amount as at least one account here. This is one FTMO account. So my goal is to make sure that you guys can lock this in. And then if you get invited to the prop firm or our trading firm, I'm going to be taking profits. I'm going to take a percentage of one account here, but I'm going to show you guys how to set up 6 accounts as well. So even though you're sharing profits on this account, you're going to copy them to multiple accounts here, and you guys will basically just bag those for yourself. So even though you are sharing profits with me because I'm taking the time out of my day to really mentor you to make sure that you're on point, you're going to also be able to basically 5x that, right? So for example, if you were to make 7,500 times 6 accounts, you could in reality make about like 40,000 a week, basically, if not a month. Obviously I'll take a percentage of one of the accounts, but you'll be able to multiply the accounts like I do here. And I'll show you exactly the same process I do it. I'll show you how to treat these profits as, run it through a business account so that you guys can get write-offs and you guys can buy cool things like cars and computers and whatever you guys want to buy. Because the thing with with business and with building wealth in general, guys, is first you guys need to figure out how to make money, right? I'm the vehicle for you. I'm the vehicle that's going to teach you how to make money. And then once you make money, I'm going to show you how to, kind of play the tax game where you can pretty much buy whatever you want and find ways to use it towards, your business. So let me see if there's anything else here. I think that's about it. So yeah, in the future, I'll go more into detail regarding that stuff. That stuff's gonna more in the future once you guys start trading, an actual account. But right now, we just want to make sure that you guys get everything down so that you guys can be consistent and actually, turn a profit across your accounts. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. Otherwise, if you guys want to rewatch the live session from today, just pull up the YouTube channel and then you guys can rewatch the session. The main way for you guys to really pick up on the things here is to rewatch the live session. So if you guys haven't already, just go to our website right here, kodikaitrades.com. Click on this link right here, the second one. This will pull you to the YouTube channel. And what you can do during your free time is just go to the live button right here and then watch basically these previous live sessions. Anything with the blue background, you'll see the previous live sessions for the past couple of days, past couple of weeks, and you'll see that every single day I'm doing the same thing. So once you guys get the routine down, it'll be easier for you to follow along and really anticipate the moves that we take during the live sessions. So I think that's about it. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow morning for the next live session as we continue on with this trading week. So,